Hi boys and girls, it's Show back with another video. We're going to cover season awards, player season awards in this video. Some of them I've made up and they're my own. Most of them are the conventional awards that you'd give out at the end of the season. Maybe no surprise in there, maybe a few. We'll see. But yeah, without further ado, we'll just get a crack on and start with the awards. Okay, so we're going to start from my own variations of these awards, and then we'll build it up. So to begin with, I'm going to have a return to form award. So this is a player that has maybe gone off the boil. They've struggled the last couple of seasons, maybe gone into the wilderness a bit. But when we think, will this be the season when we think, oh yeah, remember that player? He was great 2 years ago. Look what he's doing now. He's back to his best. So my player for that award, the Return to Form award, is none other than Dele Alli. Dele Alli, last season, 1 assist, nothing else. He had fallen out with Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho said, put his arm over his shoulder in the media, said that he's going to bring him back, bring him to a return to form. Had a couple of good games early on in Jose Mourinho's tenure. And then, as Jose Mourinho's tenure started to spiral, so did his love for Dele Alli. He thought he could turn him into, a bit like a player that where, he develops under Mourinho and, oh, look what I did for this player. I brought him back to his best. It didn't happen. And, Mourinho probably feels bitter about that. Yeah, it was a match very much not made in heaven. Now, Dele Alli, he's not done a lot for the last couple of seasons. I mean, a return to form last season we thought would be on the cards. It didn't materialise. And I think very much the penny's now dropped for Dele Alli. I think Espirito Santos is going to be very much the perfect manager for him in terms of managing expectation, building a good foundation for counter-attacking football, which will suit Dele Alli to get in the pockets in transition, be able to get his head up, pick out those passes. He's one of those players, he's not someone that always gets the direct assist or goal. He's the guy that usually provides the pass for the assist, very much, the creator of chances. People forget that, his best season really was back all the way in 2017. It's a long time ago now. Back then, I believe he had something like I can't remember how many assists it was, but it was quite a few. 10 assists. 10 assists. I've got it up in front of me here. 10 assists back in 2017. And he's 9 goals as well. So this is clearly his best season statistically. The season prior to last year, 9 goals, 4 assists. He's a player that sort of flutters around, that statistically in terms of, just on the border of double figures for goals and assists. I believe he could hit that height again this season. I think a good season for him would be around that sort of 8 to 9 goal mark with as many assists, and I think that's very much within his reach. So return to form, Dele Alli. Next one we've got most improved, the most improved player award. The player that maybe high expectations, a young player that hasn't really done a lot, but still young, maybe could still fulfill that potential. So my player for the most improved player is Demarai Gray. He wasn't in the Premier League last season. He was at Bayer Leverkusen. Only made about 10 appearances for Bayer Leverkusen, 1 goal. Nothing to write home about. But when you watch Demarai Gray play, he's an unbelievable flashy winger. He sort of just oozes talent. Can beat a man with ease. Very direct. Can go both ways. Loves a long range shot. Can score the spectacular. It's all about consistency with Demarai Gray. I think this is the season. With Everton, with the experience of Rafa Benitez as the Everton manager, I think this is the perfect club for him. To get away from Leicester City where he was previously, where, like I say, maybe the fans were getting irritated. Everyone had kind of resigned to what he was as a player. New environment, new expectations, maybe lesser expectations. One's more realistic, and I think he's now at an age, Demarai Gray, where he's ready to set the Premier League alight, and I very much think this will be clear cut his best Premier League season, and I expect something close to double-digit assists, and very much in the ballpark of somewhere around about 8 or 9 goals. So Demarai Gray, most improved player for me. Now, best newcomer. Not going to cover this very much because in my last video I did the best transfers of the Premier League and this player was my number one. Rafael Varane, he's the best newcomer. He's going to tear up the Premier League. He's going to revolutionise Man United's defence and the way they play in terms of defending those transitions and allowing the fullbacks and other players in the midfield to push on. And really, this will help as well when it comes to breaking down teams that are in a low block, which United have struggled so much. I think he'll improve Wan-Bissaka on the right with his experience, and certainly in terms of what strengths he brings, balances off Harry Maguire perfectly to bring a really, really solid centre-back partnership. So, best newcomer will be Rafael Varane by the end of the season. I'm sure of that. Next one, PFA Young Player of the Year. This one, we're going to stay with United. I think this would be quite easy, and even if you're not a United fan, I think you would agree with this. Mason Greenwood, he's going to be the PFA Young Player of the Year. I think he'll hit double digits goals this season. Started off like a house on fire so far. 3 goals in 3 games. 3 varying games as well, which shows the versatility and his ability to carve out those chances and stay relevant in the game. I think the Wolves game is a good indication of what Mason Greenwood brings, really. Sometimes not in the game, because especially if the way the team's playing, the way the Man United's balance in midfield is set up, maybe not the perfect place to get loads of chances. But he pops up on the left, he pops up on the right. He got a chance on the left on the cusp of half-time against Wolves, where very similar to his goal against Leeds, where he burst on the left side on the box and he just fired it across the goal with his left foot, and it narrowly missed. The keeper made a great save. And then obviously the goal that he did score, he was on the right hand side, did his classical step over, can go both ways because he can use both feet, takes it off his right foot, gets the lucky finish this time. But that's the threat he offers, can score from anywhere, so accurate, so decisive with his finishes. I think this is going to be his best season yet. I think Ronaldo will only draw attention through the middle, will allow him to pick up those areas one-on-one with the fullbacks where he can utilise those step overs, get those shots off. And I think this will be a runaway PFA Young Player of the Year for Mason Greenwood. Moving on to the Player of the Year award. Now, Player of the Year, this could be varying players. It could be a centre back that has been dominant, kept lots of clean sheets, really showed their sort of presence in games, especially the big games for those teams that are challenging for the title. Or it could be midfielder, an enforcer, a deep line playmaker that gets your team sort of the patterns of play going, or very much a winger and attacker that really provides the bullets and the key goal contributions. Now, I've gone with goal contributions, but I've also gone with the element of dominance as well. So my player for Player of the Year is going to be Romelu Lukaku. I think Chelsea have a really, really good chance of winning the league this year. They'll probably be my pick for the league. And I think Romelu Lukaku, he may not finish top goal scorer, he may do. But it's his ability to bully the centre backs, and I think on any team, even a team like a Burnley or another physical team where you think some strikers may go missing or have a lesser game, I think he'll thrive off those games as well, and he'll really thrive of really bringing his A game in the big games. As he relished playing against Virgil van Dijk against Liverpool, and I very much think he's in the peak of his powers now. Romelu Lukaku, at 28 years old, Serie A Player of the Year last season. I think he's going to be PFA Player of the Year this season. And what a return to Stamford Bridge that would be. A player that could barely score when he was at Chelsea previously, then becomes an absolute hero as he leads probably Chelsea to a Premier League title and becomes PFA Player of the Year. Romelu Lukaku. Moving on, Golden Glove. Now this one, there's a few options. I think Martinez had a great season last year. Obviously Villa, they have a good centre-back pairing in Tyrone Mings and Konsa. They've also signed Axel Tanzebe on loan from Man United. Could they maintain that defensive form? I think we saw early on they wouldn't be able to. Very much focusing on the attacking players they've brought in, being a bit more expansive. I don't think he's going to be in the running this year. Obviously, City, Edison, he was the one that won the Golden Glove last year. I think, he'd be an easy choice. But I'm sticking with the Chelsea theme here. Edouard Mendy, I think the way you saw Chelsea sort of maintain the points against Liverpool and manage the game, I think very much Tuchel's system benefits the defence and that organisation, that ability to set up, having Kante as well to protect the back four. Jorginho, deep line playmaker, rarely sort of leaves his pivot in the position. I just think Edouard Mendy is going to be protected by a very, very solid defence. They play free at the back. They have Rudiger there and Azpilicueta, those experienced players as well. Christensen in the middle, could also push into midfield. Beautiful balance to their defence, and I just think he may not be the best goalkeeper. And I think he's had a terrific season last year. He was great in the Champions League. Was given the Champions League, goalkeeper of the season. I think he will continue that vein of form. But like I say, the defensive solidity is what protects him, and that'll enable him to get the most clean sheets this season. So he's my pick for Golden Glove. Moving on to top assists. Now, honourable mention to Paul Pogba, because I think he easily would have run away with this award if we kept him in left wing forward position. I think very much while Man United don't have a central defensive midfielder, that's where he should be playing. And by doing so, he's in those attacking positions where he can utilise his brilliant vision and his creativity. Shrugging off defenders, with his imposing physique. I very much think he would have been my pick for this award, but now he's been moved back. Maybe with Sancho coming into the team, especially with Rashford out on the left-hand side, maybe in certain games. I think he'll be up there, but he won't be number one. My number one is, I wrote insert a City player. I think any of those City players in the attacking line, because they're so fluid, especially without a fixed striker in there, I think any of them could be racking up the assists this season. Ferran Torres, Gabriel Jesus, Jack Grealish. I think they'll obviously be the three in the running, but I'm going to go Jack Grealish with this one. I just think he's someone that he often passes up the shot, which sometimes to his detriment. But I just think the way he draws players, he's going to pop it off to these players in the box, a la the way he did in the last game against Arsenal, where he just invites the challenge, a little rollover, little outside flick into the box to Sterling from 6 yards out. That's the kind of goal. It's the bread and butter of City. They flood the box, easy goals, easy assists. Jack Grealish's style of play, I think, is very much tailor made for that. So he is going to be my top assist getter for the season. Top goal scorer. This is my final award, top goal scorer. Now, my top goal scorer is Mo Salah. Now, Mo Salah, what can't you say about Mo Salah? I think he's proved a lot of doubters wrong. A bit like when Harry Kane first burst on the scene for Spurs, when Mo Salah returned to the Premier League after he'd left Chelsea originally from Roma. I think a lot of people thought, he's a bit of a flair player, a bit inconsistent. People probably weren't sure of his game. Very much a kind of, an inverted forward who likes to sort of get in between the pockets between the centre-back and the full-back, rather than sort of an out-and-out winger. So the goal contributions are always there with that style of player. And yeah, he hit the ground running immediately. 32 goals in his first season in the Premier League. He's kept that consistency up, always hitting 19 mark and above. So that's 95 goals in his last 4 seasons for Mo Salah. He started this season really, really well. 2 goals in 3 games. I think Liverpool very much desperately need his goal contributions. I think people that obviously have Liverpool, finishing top four. That's obviously fine, certainly in terms of the personnel, the experience, the know-how that they have. A lot of those players haven't changed by obviously losing Gigi Wijnaldum in the midfield. They still got the experienced wing backs of Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, which are sort of their main attacking threats because their style of play sort of designed around providing them space to feed those balls into their inverted forwards in Mane and Salah. I just think Salah, I think he knows from last season Firmino's inconsistency. Jota's obviously a great addition from last season. He started again this season very, very well. But I just think he is the focal point for Liverpool. If he doesn't deliver and he has an off season, I could very much see Liverpool looking at fourth and over their shoulder than challenging for the title this season. That's how much I think that's how much I rank his importance in terms of what he's going to have to do for this football club. So I think he's well up for that task. I think he'll consistently hit 19 goals at least this season, but I think he'll like I say, because of very much a lot of the Liverpool players will be looking for him to do the damage and score the goals at the business end. I just think that he's the player that will end up top goal scorer when it's all said and done. I think something like 25 goals wouldn't be far off, which would be his best season. Laughably his best season since he first arrived with 32 goals, even though he's consistently hit over 19. So yeah, Mo Salah's my number one. Honourable mentions, like I say, to probably Lukaku. I'll put Ronaldo in there, slotting at number 3, but Mo Salah's going to tear it up this season, keep Liverpool relevant, pushing for that sort of third place finish, I would believe. Okay, so they're my awards. Do you agree? Please put your opinion in the comment section. What you think each award should be for each team and player. My awards again, I'll just list them now just before we finish, so you can stick them in the comments if you'd like. So we've got top goal scorer Mo Salah, top assists Jack Grealish, Golden Glove Edouard Mendy, PFA Player of the Year Romelu Lukaku, PFA Young Player of the Year Mason Greenwood, Best Newcomer Rafael Varane, Most Improved Damari Gray, and finally Return to Form Dele Alli. Okay, thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.